I recently started playing Fall Guys, and I really liked the pop-out infographic at the beginning of the level, so I thought I'd give it a go, trying to recreate the same effect and show you how I did it. Alright, so to start, I have the empty 3D starter template with starter content. And I'm going to add a canvas, make sure that it is overlay. I'm going to set the scale of screen. I'm going to use 1920 by 1080 as my reference and set this to 0.5. From here, I'm going to create an empty object and rename it to info popout. And with that, I want to then create or click on that, get in view, and I want to set this to pivot 0, and I want to set this to -960 by -377. Under this, I'm going to create another image, and I'm going to rename this background. I'm going to set this to this crown background that I clipped from a screenshot of the game. I made this one 1024 by 128, so that's the size I'm going to use for the height. And I'm going to want to set the position of this to, I'll make sure the pivot is set to 0. And I'm going to set the position to 233. And I want to have it bottom left anchor. Under background, I'm going to create another image, and I'm going to rename this one to icon. I'm going to set this to the ball image, and I'm going to set its position to 426. Again, under background, I'm going to create UI Text Mesh Pro icon, and here I'm going to set its position to -26 and -2. I'm going to set its width to 685 and its height to 85. I'm going to set the text for this example to keep balls in your area to earn points for your team. I'm going to set the font to this Archivo Black that I was using in a different project. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to recreate those, so it's not a problem. So here I have this font, Archivo Black OTF. You can right click on this and say create Text Mesh Pro font, and it'll create just the base version of that font. And that's what I'm using here on this. I'm going to set the font size to 24. I'm going to align it right and middle. And then I'm going to create another image under Info Popout. I'm going to rename this to middle. I'm going to set this to arrow. This is going to be the arrow that pops out. I'm going to set its position to 124. Its width to 512, which is also the size of the image. It's height to 128. And I'm going to do a left anchor. Again, under Info Pop-Out, I'm going to make another image. I'm going to set this again to arrow. I'm going to set its color this time to an orange, and that orange is going to be F75200. For this, we are going to set its position to 96, and then we're going to left bottom anchor that. Oh, you know what? I should have used this pivot 0. And then here, set this to 96. And then down, like that. I'm going to set this to 512 and 128. Oh. Nope, that looks... Oh, actually, you know what? I think that was supposed to be that's center. Right. So we have that. We're going to rename this to title, and then we're going to add a Text Mesh Pro under that. Here we're going to put hoarders for the hoarder game. I'm going to set the position to 37 and 3.5. We're going to set its width to 305 by 77. We're going to use Archival Black, and this is one I made called Title. I made that going to the font, Text Mesh Pro, creating another font, renaming it to Title, and then clicking on this arrow, go to the material. I clicked Underlay. I set its alpha to 174, its offset X to 1, its offset Y to minus 0.829, and its softness to 0.198. Everything else is set to default. Then we want to set this to 50, and we want to set this to right and middle. And I think I'm actually going to move this over just a bit. Oh, I also forgot an R in hoarders. There we go. That looks good. Alright. So there we go. We have the basic look that I was going for, down. Next, we're going to create the animations. Let's click on animations, and we're going to click and create an animation controller. We're going to call this info pop out. And then here on info pop out, we're going to make sure this is set to expand. We're also going to create a animator. We're going to want to set that to info pop out, and then we're also wanting a canvas group, and set that to 1 and disable interactable and disable blocks raycast. Now, clicking on pop out, you can click on the animation tab and click create clip, and we're first going to create the base clip. For this, it's going to be info pop out base. For this, hit this record and click on middle, and I want to say add key, and title, add key. And I'm going to set these all off screen. All right, and then stop recording, and then that's what we want for that. And if we look at our animator for this, it'll show that it is going to that base. So like we start up, it'll be off screen. Next, we're going to do another clip, and we are going to call this close. Add property. I want to click on this, click on the 30 mark, record, go to 0, I'm going to stop recording, show that it will go invisible. Great. Click on these, we do not want them to loop. Go make another animation clip. We're going to call this one open. To start this, I want to make sure that I track the X of background and the scale of background. I want to track the X of middle and the X of title. And I want to set them off screen. Stop recording. At the 45 mark, so scroll down, it will shrink the time. So at the 45 mark, I'm going to record again. I want to set the title anchor to 172. And then at the minute mark, or at the 1:00 mark, I'm going to set this to minus 876.25. Oh, keep recording. I want to set the middle to 144, and I want to set the title to 146. And then at the 110 mark, I want to set the middle to 248. And at the 114 mark, I want to set the background to 648. I want to set the scale. Keep the scale at 1 because we're going to change it in the next keyframe, and I don't want it to. I want to interpolate from this point, not from the beginning. And then we'll set the middle to 174. And then we'll jump up to 124. And here we're going to change this background position to 364. The scale to 1.1. And then on 140, we're going to keep the position at that. We're just going to add the keyframe of the same position. And then I'm going to change the scale, 0.8. And at 145, we have a ending position. We're going to end the position at 283 and reset the scale to 1. So let's see how that looks. That looks pretty cool. Okay. And right now, let's hook up our animation controller. Let's make a transition to open. We're going to set the exit time to 2 seconds. Make another transition from open to close. And we'll set that exit time to 5 seconds. And then here in the project, I'm going to make sure that this open is not set to looping. And save that. And with running, we should see the cool Fall Guy info pop-out effect. Awesome.